Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our esteemed speaker, Dr. Mehdi Snène. Dr. Snène is a dedicated advocate for leveraging technology and artificial intelligence to drive sustainable development around the world. As the senior advisor on artificial intelligence for the UN Secretary General's Envoy on Technology, he is at the forefront of promoting responsible AI and evidence-based policy making to advance the Sustainable Development Goals. With a rich background in research and development, he has successfully overseen the establishment of collaborative AI networks and worked tirelessly to ensure data sovereignty for regions across the globe. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Mehdi Snène.
Hello, everyone. Is this working better now? Perfect. I don't see my screen, so if you can help me, yeah, that's fine. Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation and for all my esteemed colleagues that started this passionate discussion today on the development in the AI. And before running into my presentations, I'd like to just bring some background of my past experience, lessons learned on AI and development, especially during the COVID time, where the AI appeared as one of the most advanced tool and capabilities that led to a major discovery, especially the vaccine for the COVID-19. And we have clearly seen that at that time, the AI could make the change and the difference between different actors on the ground, either in the global health, the public health, or at the pandemic preparedness. And since that time, we kept this thinking about how to bring the AI into in an equal and fair access across the globe to help for the development, not only for health, but for various other SDGs, ranging from education, climate change, the food security, health, um, water access, and preservation of resources. So that was the starting of the thinking. But to be fair, the ESG and the at the UN, we have been thinking about the AI years before, and recently with the COVID-19 crisis and the role that AI played there, but also with all this fascinating advancement of the AI, the role and the message of the UN is being, for the moment, heard much more than before, and is being placed as a way to ensure, at least, that the prosperity and the development is shared among the population and is shared at the global level, that there is a respect of the global UN vision, among others, the human rights while developing the AI. And I'm not talking about risks, I'm talking about human rights to share the development and to enjoy common development and for equity development. We are not yet at the risks, as many of us are putting for the moment. We often talk about these risks, but we keep forgetting about the opportunities that the AI will also bring to the world. And among others, at the UN, we have tried to bring these enablers and opportunities, but also the risks, and then at how to put all of that on a global scale and how to ensure that there is a smooth governance framework that will happen to ensure reducing the risk and maximizing the opportunities and putting AI into the different hands of different players from in an equal form. As you can see with what is happening right now in big players in the AI, there is a clear issue of governance. There is a clear disruption in the vision between the faster the development and between ensuring the safety and security and between sharing and opening the models that they are building and then they to make it more accessible, more reproducible, also more beneficial for the humanity rather than being for a single entity. Among others, and especially the UN secretariat, recently the SG started the AI advisory body of the UN, where we believe that this is an essential effort to ensure that at a global level, we are bringing the global south, we are bringing the global north. We are not leaving anyone behind in this human discussion regarding the how to govern and what kind of framework, incentives, rules we need to put in place, and recommendations how to enforce or reinforce that measure development is uh, developed as a common digital public goods, and that risks are minimized, that data is being safe guarded, that there is no abuse of the data from any country to any other countries, but also that these data sets, these models are serving for the common benefit for the humanity. And the AI advisory board just launched it a month ago, and then hopefully will serve as a board to deliver the first recommendation for the future of the summit next year in September. Is regrouping 39 members from 33 countries, from different regions. Most of them are prominent AI researchers. These regrouping civil society members, private and government, uh, fully gender balanced boards, and is based on the cornerstone of the UN and the first building block of the UN values. These are the human rights, the sustainable development goals, and the UN Charter. And this board would lead, hopefully, to a governance framework for a global agreement that will be included inside of the global digital compacts that will be submitted to the next UN General Assembly in September 2024. Beyond this political and this regulatory approach to the AI, there is also a big work stream inside of the UN about, and we start thinking that's an initial blueprint of how to bring a better AI for development, what is needed, and how to work with colleagues, with partners, with other organizations in order to bring that to life and to make it accessible to major numbers of countries. This is composed essentially from three building blocks that we've got as a feedback from major consultations, which are often related to data and computing, human resources and capacity building, and models and open source models. So if we synthesize the vision that people are asking for, how could we develop further the AI in different countries, and how can we bring more SDGs that are development based on the AI across different other countries. Many of these SDGs, in fact, are not a single country problem, but are much more global level problem. If you talk about climate change, if you talk about resource preservation, if you talk about global health, this is not a single country. And to make that feasible, we need to equip all these countries with the same tools to be able to understand and also to act on these SDGs, especially if we are talking about the Agenda 2030, the next almost 6 years. So the first element is this digital public infrastructure. There is a lot of talking about digital public infrastructure importance in these times, but I think that with the AI, this gains a lot of importance, especially knowing that there are two elements inside of this public infrastructure that need to be in phases. First is the computing power, which is much more hardware infrastructure rather than the common definition of DPI. We really have this request and needs for computing infrastructure. The second is about data, and data in kind of very specific siloed approach or very specific thematic approach, like the identification, like health data, like geographical data. And the approach that we are considering now for the blueprint is firstly to start building a community of advocating for digital public infrastructure, to enable a resource mutualization across a global collaboration. The idea is that if we can have enough computing power, not only in the hands of big states or big organizations, but also that is available for multiple countries and multiple partners, we already have reduced a big issue in the access to the AI computing, and also in the access in big models or foundational models building. And with this community building, we need to find a strategy for the funding and for the sustainability. As soon as we build this kind of infrastructure, this is not, we need to understand that this is not a one-shot infrastructure. This is infrastructure that can be obsolete with the obsolescence of the GPUs, with the obsolescence of data, with the obsolescence of the communication network infrastructure, and that it requires a long-term sustainability plan. And that's the implementation strategy that we aim to build for the digital public infrastructure. Once we have at least a first vision of the 5 to 10 years of these DPI, the idea is to bring it and to enforce the trust into that. That's a major issue I've seen during the COVID-19 crisis, is that there was a big call for data sharing across the globe to help in the virus sequencing, in the vaccine discovery, into variant discovery. And then as soon as we got a first outcome from all these data sharing, we have seen that the outcome was not shared among people who share it or who are giving their own data. And then we have seen a lot of skepticism coming along with this data sharing, but there is no output sharing. And I think that, to be fair today, this output sharing, integration, evaluation, but also iteration and enforcement of trust are essential elements to enable the sharing of common vision of a DPI, but also a common vision of data, to mutualize data in order to enable quicker implementation of models. Data is the essential food for any AI model. And unfortunately, in the global south, many countries are data poor countries or labeled as data poor countries. There is no enough incentives to produce the data. And then mutualizing the data resources together could lead to a faster digital public infrastructure, better populated with better data quality. And finally, we have the transversal DPI. And these are, we need to define what does it mean from country perspective. What is a minimum viable DPI? What is a minimum digital public infrastructure to be implemented, to be able to build on the top of it different directions of AI? And this needs to be done in a common understanding. There are a couple of directions today in the DPI from different organizations going into financial digital public infrastructure, health digital public infrastructure, education digital public infrastructure. I think that this will lead us to distributed to the recurrent and siloed approach. We need to come with a minimum viable DPI for the maximum of members of our community building, in order to ensure that all of us are getting the same understanding but are starting on the same building blocks, and that we are not rebuilding or reinventing the wheel. The second element after the DPI is the AI public good ecosystem. So we have the digital public good system or ecosystem, and I think that the AI public good ecosystem should be clearly different than digital public goods. AI by nature is models, is software, also is agents, but also is data, which is not always the case of the digital public goods. Which is not fully based on data, but it's much more based on services or software services. So we need to make this clear distinction of AI public good and what is the AI public good ecosystem, in order to capitalize on the existing pieces and to reuse these existing knowledge and to share it among the community of practice that we are building, firstly at the digital public infrastructure. Beyond the identification and implementation, which are the essential steps and assessment and validation. A big effort, I think, at the AI PG should be towards the fair approach, which is fundable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. How to maximize these elements inside of our AI models, but also a long-term stewardship strategy. The the level of adoption of digital public goods is very low. And this is essentially because of the stewardship strategy. We all know that a software is not a single piece of work that we put there and that will survive for eternity. Software need to be maintained, software need to be updated, and software need to be explained, especially when it comes to complex deployment or complex pieces of software. And today in digital public goods, there is no stewardship strategy. Who owns and who is taking care of this software? If you do the same mistake with the AI public good, then we will end up with a hundred of models that no one can understand what are these models doing, and that they are obsolete quickly, given the speed of the implementation and speed of the technology implementation today. So a long-term stewardship strategy is an essential element today that we are taking into consideration while building these recommendations, but also while building this ecosystem. And finally, we need to build a user-centric community again. Digital public goods, although it's very beneficial at the global level of to reduce the burden and also to access to quick software pieces that can provide efficient services, are not user-centric community, but are much more developer-centric community. We will find a lot of developers of digital public goods community today talking to each other, while it's very hard to find user-centric community where they can exchange practices, they can exchange best practices, knowledge, feedback, and upgrades of their models. And that's another element that we would like to add inside of the AI public good ecosystem. Then we have the final, or before the final element, almost the final element, the capacity building. This is a much easier approach. There are the workforce today that may face some challenges when it comes to the AI, and the area is how can we integrate the AI at different levels of training curriculum, depending on the outcomes or the outputs of the workforce or what is expected from the workforce. I think that we should not exclude any specific kind of work or workforce category from this training curriculum. We will be all facing AI, even if we do not ask for. Our data is being ingested by AI models, with or without our permission. And that's also something that needs to be raised. And that's coming to the citizens and how to increase the citizens' understanding of the AI risk and opportunities, but also how to extract better benefit the AI for the citizens. Then we finally have leadership and policymakers, where we need to bring this evidence based practice for the AI in the policy making, and the researchers and innovators, where we need to bring a better research, common research agenda. We see that there is a big fight and race to the leadership on the AI. It's not often, it's very beneficial for the humanity, but it will be more beneficial to the humanity if this race will be the outcome of the race is shared among the entire humanity rather than staying within the hands of very few of us, and to convince but also to enable that there is a research happening and being implemented in the global south as well as in the global north at the same pace, at the same race, at same level. We are looking into how to create this culture of research, and what does it mean in terms of blueprint, what is being expected from a multilateral organization, multilateral development banks in terms of investment, but also in terms of governance framework, in terms of recommendation, in terms of regulation, in order also to be able to create this innovation. And as we've seen a fantastic innovation today in Guyana, and I'm really surprised by the amount and the level of technology being deployed there. And I think it's a lot of factors that need to be combined together. It's not a single effort. It should not be a single effort. And the UN is looking into, at the UN, we are looking into how to increase this innovation and to make it accessible to the largest numbers of countries. Finally, and then just added quickly now, this is about the evidence to policy, which is the essential piece currently we are working on. What does it mean building evidence to policy? Because we have been talking about AI could be very helpful when it comes to the COVID-19. AI could be very helpful for SDGs. What does it really mean? And how can we now walk the talk? How can we really implement it? And then we have come with one of our first outcome is the framework for evidence to policy. That is based on three essential elements: the analytics, design, and the impact. And the area is to build AI for impact and AI for development. That means for us kind of AI for impact. And it's very simple model starting from data structure, giving different steps to how to build the AI models, how to extract the evidence, and how to inform and build incremental policy later. And again, getting outcomes and the data from outcomes that get back to feed inside of this circle. The idea is just to give you an overview of first element that we are building right now in the AI framework for evidence to policy and where we are heading to. This is the approach. I'd like to make it a larger approach, very consultative approach when it comes to the AI for development. And I think that with the Summit of the Future next year and the Global Digital Compacts, we are ahead of a very great time when it comes to the AI and digital. Again, thank you for inviting me, and thank you all.